A quick insight from WellView 365, powered by freshnews.ai. Compliance-grade waiting room messaging is becoming a core safety system for maintaining regulatory compliance, safety, and patient trust. Executive summary. Compliance-grade waiting room messaging treats most screen as part of a formal safety and communication system rather than casual entertainment. Centrally governed hardware, software, and content workflows ensure that safety notices, policy updates, and emergency alerts are accurate, approved, and traceable. The outcome is a consistent, auditable layer of patient-facing communication that supports trust, reduces risk, and aligns with clinical and operational standards. Today's signal: operations leaders are using annual compliance reviews and budget cycles to classify waiting room screens as part of their safety and emergency communication stack. Once classified, ad hoc content ownership, loose approvals, and non-standard devices become audit and incident review risks. This is forcing near-term decisions about messaging ownership, content governance, and approved safety infrastructure. WellView 365 enables support safety, compliance, emergency messaging by centralizing streaming coordination, streaming management, and streaming orchestration across end-to-end delivery paths. Why it matters? Here are 4 takeaways. First, screen content becomes part of documented safety and compliance controls, not discretionary local decor. Second, audit and incident reviews can trace which messages were live at a given time, on which screens, and under whose approval. Third, emergency messaging can override routine content reliably without relying on front desk staff to switch inputs or find files. Fourth, IT, facilities, and clinical leadership can align on a single standards for devices, content formats, and uptime expectations. How it works in practice. A typical case involves a compliance review that asks for evidence of how safety notices, infection control updates, and emergency instructions appear in waiting rooms. Operations and patient experience teams then map each display to a content source, identify who uploads files, and show how legal or risk teams approve messages. The workflow often breaks when screens run from USB sticks or consumer streaming devices with no audit trail. When messaging is consolidated into a managed system with named owners, standard playlists, and logged approvals, updates propagate predictably, last-minute policy changes are easier to implement, and emergency alerts can be pushed without manual intervention at the front desk. One practice adjustment. This week, list each waiting room screen and its player type, and flag any display that cannot show centrally managed safety or emergency messages. What to do next? Here are 4 takeaways. First, review classify waiting room screens in your safety and communications policies as compliance grade or non-compliant and document the criteria. Second, standardize on a limited set of managed players and software that support central control, logging, and emergency overrides. Third, align with compliance and risk teams on a minimum set of required safety and policy messages and their approval workflow. Fourth, schedule a quarterly review to validate that all waiting room playlists, devices, and owners still meet your compliance grade standard. Read more at wellview365.com.